That's what you get. Say hi to Davy Jones for me. Good morning. In today's video, we're going to attempt to engage this enemy cruise missile submarine, which apparently is transiting southward in the Norwegian Sea towards the North Atlantic. We reckon it's a Juliet class. I've not long sunk one of those in the campaign, so it's a second one. But either way, let's go ahead and see what happens. Okay, where are you? We don't actually know where this is. We don't see any submarines on this particular map here, but they should appear. So we'll just let it do its thing. There's a surface fleet. It's probably anti-submarine warfare. Okay, this looks this is traveling south. Oh, and you're heading. Okay, I'm gonna go for you as well because hey, we could do with some trade, and besides, I've been giving the Russians a bit of a bloody nose. I might regret this decision, but let's find out.
On sonar, new contact bearing 2.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Something very close to me. But I bet we'll pop up the surface sensors. Let's take a
New
look.
radar contact. Make depth 4-5 feet. Dive by.
Okay, well, it's a merchant, but he is right in front of me.
Dive at 4-5 feet. Dive by.
Yeah, he's pretty close. Okay, well, fair enough. Is that a trawler? Is the next one? Yep. And what flag is that? I don't recognize the flag. I should do, but I don't. Okay, well, that's fair enough. Let's
Down scope.
get everything down and get to depth. See if there's a layer. Yes, there is. Okay. My depth to 328 feet.
3-8 feet. Dive by.
So a little suspicious that the game is telling me I can disengage, and usually when that's
Come
the
right
case,
to 3-5-7 helm I.
it's the primary target that you've encountered, and it's almost like it wants you to just this is too difficult. I'm going to go with something else. So if I don't detect this thing pretty quickly, I'm going to go ahead and likely just do some active sonar pinging.
Passing 200 feet.
Now, before you flip out, especially if you're a veteran of cold waters, yes, this is not really what we would expect to be doing in a nuclear boat. But hear me out. See,
Passing 300 feet.
the reason why I want to do this is I'm likely not to be able to detect him. In fact, with this noisy merchant ship to my my port side now, I may just struggle just to
Passing
pick
400 feet.
much of anything up. So yeah, let's let the depth settle out. I'm a little too close to Master 1, to this merchant boat ship, I suppose. I don't really like pinging actively with the sonar, but this feels like an extreme case because wherever this submarine is, I
On
don't...
sonar, regained contact on. Master 2, bearing 2-9-8.
There he is. I can't detect him. I think I've just about leveled out. The towed array is is going to be dropping behind me for a few minutes. You know, let's actually put a bit of distance here.
Make turns for 20 knots. Maneuvering I.
Now, running at 20 knots is not as bad as pinging actively with the sonar, but we're making a lot of noise. So I'm going to accelerate time. It does feel a little dangerous doing this, but I think we'll be okay.
On maneuvering. Making turns for 20 knots.
Let's run at accelerate time for just a little bit. Okay, it's coming up a couple of thousand yards. We'll drop it down to ultra quiet.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
So I'm going to go ahead and
Come left to 274 helm I.
turn it a little bit more westerly. Let's let the thing settle down, or accelerate time.
Con sonar regained contact on Master 2, bearing 295.
Oh, so I'm going to go ahead and ping, because experience tells me that I can float around the map for the longest time and not discover
helm, steady course.
whatever is out there. This at least might flush it out. If it doesn't flush it out, then there's not much I can really do.
Con sonar switching to active search.
Okay, now we wait. Well, can't disengage anymore. But maybe they didn't detect me either. Okay,
Con sonar switching to passive search.
we're heading in the right.
Sonar launch transient from Sierra 4.
Oh, looks like we found them.
Right to 3. Make turns for 20 knots.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Let's at least see if we can detect.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra 4. Last bearing 265. Contact faded.
I was going to see if we could figure out what it was, but I'm going to go back to active.
Switching to active search.
He already knows where I am. He's already got something out towards me.
Making turns for 5 knots.
Let's get a ring, ping on it, see what the heck it is if we can. But I suspect it's a tango. Just one more limited I saw of the sonar. It might be a kilo. Nothing. Come on. Don't really want to waste a torpedo, but it's a long way away. Okay, one more.
Regained
Hey, there he is.
On Sierra 4. Con sonar launch transient from Sierra 4.
It's tango, so that's USET 80s. Yeah, okay. Alright, active
Con
off.
sonar switching to path. Con helm. Make turns for 20 knots. Maneuvering eye.
Crank it up to 20 knots. Let's get it down to 700 feet. And now we're gonna
700 feet dive by.
retrieve the Todari, because he knows exactly where we are, and that's okay. I also know where.
Making turns for 20 knots.
I also know where he is, and I'm not going to fire just yet. What do you want to do? Let's do this and get an idea of how far away I've traveled from the location where he fired upon me. I really need to put about 2,000 yards, assuming that torpedo is firing in a straight line. Now he is able to steer it, assuming he can still detect me, and if he's turning tail and running, then he's not going to be able to detect me. So let's get up to flank speed. Todare is still deployed. It'll be okay if I do this. It doesn't really feel very authentic.
Dive at 700 feet dive by.
I mean, there is a long Todare there. Actually, it's getting there. This slightly chunky end that was more or less coming to the center of the display is close to the edge of it. Okay, well that's it's not so bad, right? We're maybe 1,000 yards out where we were. Let's accelerate time for just a jiffy. It's 2,000 yards now. If he is if he's steering this could be
emergency maneuvering eye.
a little unfortunate.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering eye.
I'm going to turn towards him. I really want to pick up these torpedoes heading my way and maybe fire more the throttle, head to 30 knots, get out of here at flank speed. Let's just see what happens.
Con maneuvering, making turns for 5 knots.
So our rate of turn is now very slow because we're doing 5 knots. Yeah, look at that. Okay, I mean I could make it turn quicker by using accelerate time, but that's not really the point here. I'm not nervous. Of course I'm not nervous. I'm very nervous. Use a bit of accelerate time in all fairness.
Con helm, steady course.
Still nothing. Okay, that's interesting. There we go. Right, that's running passive, and that may be the
Come
first
right
torpedo
270. Helm I.
that was fired at me. Double check the range. You said 80s, 1640 yards, so not a full square. It's not going to detect me. Now, buddy torpedo fired more on a more northerly course, like that one there, is going to
right
detect me.
Make
that.
turns for 30 knots. Maneuvering I.
And it's kind of deep as well. So yeah, we need to get out of here. Okay, we're at flank speed. That is a little predictable. Just favor that a little bit. Let's assume that
Con, helm, steady course.
I really need to be 2 squares out of that location. I'm gonna point it directly north. Okay, it's gone live. This is not looking pretty. Oh, tell me it's circling. Hi, you numpty. Not me, him. Okay, well that is great news because assuming there's not another one.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Come left to 289. Helm I.
That's more north of this one. I can safely avoid it. Okay, there we go. Well, that was a stroke of luck because that wasn't looking very encouraging for a jiffy. Okay. Let's accelerate time for just a little bit longer.
Con, helm, steady course.
Don't think
maneuvering, making turns for 5 knots.
Don't think Sierra 4 is my primary target. And get my towed area out.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 4, bearing 248.
Right, and he now has no idea where I am because he can't detect me on either active or passive. So I should get a reasonable bearing on his distance from me. I think I want to maybe point the nose towards him.
Come left to 247. Helm I.
So as he approaches me, he'll get a bit less of a return. But I don't want to get too close because, yeah, I can maybe close to this torpedo. Well, it's showing solution 48%, so -10 head on. Let's just for the argument's sake, let's give him a side-on profile.
333. Helm I.
And then if we need to, we can turn towards him. But it's 66%. It looks like we know pretty much where he is, and that's good. Side-on will give me a better hearing, better ears on him because I've got more of the mics of the towed array. So that's good. So far, no difference in his active sonar return. -6 I'm showing now. Exactly where he is. Yeah, I'm going to fire. I'm going to, still doing 15 knots. And maybe he thinks I fired on him, which is amusing because I really haven't.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
Perfect. And I'm going to use his torpedo as something of a sort of shield. He may not hear my torpedo. Dang it. Oh well. He may not have heard my torpedo through his torpedo. But we're going to run this torpedo behind me. And what we'll do, turn a bit more towards him though. He's getting close to be able to detect me.
241. Helm I.
Bump my speed to 10
Make
knots
turns for 10 knots.
to help how quickly I can turn. He's now -7 decibels on the Active sonar return. That's good.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Back to ultra quiet. He has not slowed down yet, but when he does, he's making a bit more of a whiff of where I am.
Con,
So
helm, steady course.
what I'm trying to do here is use the other sonar contacts to disguise this approaching torpedo, which is also in cruise mode. It's not making that much noise compared to what it will be. It's running quiet, relatively quiet, so that helps. Still doing 15 knots, that helps me. And now he might be slowing down now.
Con, sonar, lost contact. Sierra, bore, last bearing, 237, contact faded.
He's certain he just dropped to his own equivalent of ultra quiet, which I imagine for that Soviet boat is ultra quiet ski, comrade. Okay, well, he's using a merchant as a shield, and that may be because he's detected my torpedo, or it may be because he hasn't detected the torpedo, and therefore he thinks he's safe. Either way, he's not turning away and running, so I don't think he's threatened by anything. Maybe because my torpedo is heading south. It is right now. I'm going to go ahead and get a bit more of my side-on profile to him because I can't hear him right now.
Come right to 311, helm I.
Let's get some more of those microphones pointing in his direction. He could do with knowing where he is. It's going to help me out. Let's run a bit of accelerate time for a few seconds.
Con, helm, steady course.
Run this torpedo west. Now this torpedo is going to detect the merchant ship, so I need to keep the wire on it really. Going to attack the merchant ship.
Con, sonar, regained contact on. Sierra, bore, bearing, 233.
He may get
Come left to 228, helm I.
so he's picking up speed again. I think he's detected my torpedo, but his active sonar return was, I think, 6 or 7 I saw just then. The turn back towards him, that's going to reduce. It's going to giving him a smaller cross section for his sonar to bounce back. But I reckon he's probably decided he left something in the other direction. See, may well have detected my torpedo approaching him, which would be amusing, but
Con, helm, steady course.
right, this torpedo's going to go live in a few seconds, and we'll hopefully be able to attack him. He's making a ton of noise. Still at the same depth, nearly 700 feet. He's up to 15 knots right now. Let's see if we can see him. Yep, we can. Like he was cavitating, but that would be a bit unusual. That might just be an artifact of the game. Right, and my torpedo has gone active, so let's point the nose towards the target. So, check our depth.
Con, sonar, launch transient from Sierra, bore.
Hopefully, he's launching it pretty much directly east. He's launching in the direction of my torpedo, which is... you might think it's homing in on him. It's not yet.
Con, fire control, weapon
There we go.
acquired.
Ship match depth. So I would say pretty much the game is up for Sierra 4 for
Con,
this
sonar, noisemaker, bearing, 226.
for this Tango boat. He probably wants to head towards the surface, and he is. He's now at 500 feet.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Watch, I can't see him yet. There we go. So he's doing the whole depth change thing. It's great. My torpedo is coming from roughly this angle. Well, this is the view of it approaching. Unerringly tracking it.
Con, sonar, noisemaker, bearing, 224.
My torpedo is matching his depth, but it's not tracking him right now. Don't see it either. It's a little above him. I see it. Let's turn it towards the
Con,
target.
fire control, weapon
Aha.
acquired.
That was all it took. And now, if he doesn't get a noisemaker out in the next few seconds, he is dead.
Con, sonar, lost contact.
Deet.
Sierra, 4. Last bearing, 2. Contact breaking up.
Right, well, that was a fairly successful engagement. His torpedo is not a threat, so I'm going to go ahead and accelerate time. It will go live, like so. It's passive.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
We are... I guess we're scot-free. So it wasn't my primary target. I'm pretty certain I've seen that on the strategic map. That's okay. But we sunk one more dangerous diesel-electric Soviet boat. So I'm happy with that we managed to do that. It's a little slippery. It wasn't my primary target, so I was wrong. We just couldn't detect it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and we will... Next time you hear from me is either there's another boat around, which I doubt, or...
Come left to 174. Helm I.
Or
Con, helm, steady course.
you know what? It's there. I can disengage. Okay. Do I get an earful from the boss? Because I accidentally went for the wrong target. Didn't accidentally. I've got plenty of Mark 48s. I'm spreading the love, sir. Yeah, it wasn't the mission objective, but that's okay. And then this thing. The closest submarine contact is almost certainly my my primary target, but where is he heading? I don't know that yet. Now I'm going to get aggressive with this Juliet. See, there may be another one following. And this guy too. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to take you all on.
On sonar, new contact.
Rig ship for ultra quiet. Raise the ESM mast.
Make depth 4, 5 feet, dive by.
Con, sonar, master 1 is classified as merchant.
Con, dive at 4.
Come left to 308.
Okay.
Helm I.
That is, well, I mean, great. It's probably another diesel electric. It's probably something else that we need to take care of. So let's turn northwest, which we're doing, and
Passing 100 feet.
get the depth down, as we're doing, and let's see what happens. To avoid this being an incredibly long video, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording. I'll be back when something interesting is happening. That did not take very long. This Foxtrot class boat is pinging, and he's no hope of detecting me, so I guess he thinks there's something out there, and he's not wrong, but he doesn't know where I am. He's just at the layer, so it turns out I was a lucky guess, but he is pretty much northwest of me, so we're gonna just hopefully pick him up. Yeah, massive 66. Don't really want to give him my site profile, but I'm going to, because
Come left to 219. Helm I.
I could really do with being able to hear him if he turns his active sonar off, which he may do. So let's see what happens when I do that. He's still pinging me. It's a death wish. Okay, he's 5,500 yards, so I'm going to say...
Con, helm, steady course.
Hello chaps, you
Shoot tube 4. Eyes.
like my nice
Make
Mark
turns
48?
15 knots.
Are either of these
Maneuver
Russian
gun.
boats? No, that's not a Russian boat.
Con,
Nor is
sonar,
that.
lost contact. Master. Con, maneuvering, making turns for 15 knots.
Okay. This should be pretty straightforward engagement. He cannot hear me yet, and I'm running at 15 knots, so if he fires upon me, I've got a bit of a speed on, plus I'm able to guide my torpedo at 15 knots. At 20 knots, you can lose the torpedo wire. I don't think it's going to matter that much. I told the torpedo to run for 3,000 yards and go wide. If I stick to 15 knots, I can make it go live right now, and it's not going to detect him. Might do. Really might. He's dropped to 11 knots.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 3, last bearing 3, 1, 1. Contact faded.
It's interesting. So he's gone to ultra quiet, and he'll be able to hear me pretty soon, if not already. So let's make this thing live. It doesn't have aneroic coating, so I can use an active sonar on the torpedo, and it will spook anything else out there that's close enough to consider this torpedo to be a threat. Let's go ahead and use that now.
Fire control, weapon acquired.
Wow, that was quick. It also feeds back information about him to my own sensor suite and to my own targeting computer. Okay, so he's firing at me, or he's firing at something.
Con sonar regained contact on. Con sonar launch transient from Sierra 3.
He's firing a spread. That means there is the potential for the southernmost torpedo to be approaching me, but 15 knots is going to help. Don't think he would have detected
Con
me.
sonar noisemaker bearing 3, 1, 8.
Is there anything else we could detect? No. So I think he's just a lone wolf. And got spooked by something and he's going to end up eating a Mark 48. So let's take a look at him. A classic looking submarine there. Oh, that's a loud sonar. Yeah, there's really not much you can do at this point. He can drop a noisemaker at just the right moment and kind of prolong things, but I pretty much think he's had it. So let's watch these last few moments, hopefully. Okay, got him. And now he sinks. Okay, let's go back to my boat. I've told the Todare to be retrieved. I could have kept that out, but I want to run to 20 knots with an option to run to 30 knots.
20 knots. Maneuvering I.
I feel threatened, but I think I'm going to be okay.
Maneuvering. Making turns for 20 knots.
Again, in the interest of keeping this video to be less than 7 hours long, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and if this torpedo tracks me down, back. Otherwise, the next time we talk, hopefully, it's what I think is my primary target. Okay, let's see if this is our primary target.
On sonar, new contact.
Rig ship for ultra quiet. Raise the radar mast.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 08.
Con, dive at 4-5 feet, dive I.
That's kind of encouraging. A couple of sonar contacts, but nothing on the radar. Give it a few seconds. Oh, look at that.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as submerged submarine.
Juliet class, and it's escorted by a whiskey.
Sonar, Sierra 2.
Downscope.
That's a turn up for the books. And looks like they're both below the layer, so we'll get my depth down.
Make
Not-
depth 3 to 8 feet, dive I.
Not saying that this is going to be a cakewalk, but I don't see this as being too big a challenge. Now that said, then
Come left 2.
Maybe.
0. Helm I.
there may be something else out there, but this Juliet is probably be a little closer than I'm thinking here. Guess we'll prep my torpedoes.
Con sonar, new contact bearing
look at that.
074. Designated Sierra 3.
Well, it's not a whiskey.
Con helm, steady course.
It's not a tango. Okay. It's another Juliet.
Con sonar, Sierra 3 is classified as submerged submarine.
Turn up for the books. don't think I've encountered two Juliets this side of one of my own own scenarios, but I mean, okay. 8 knots, 7,000 yards. That's an easy kill. What's the speed of a Juliet? I don't think they're particularly quick. Well, 18 knots. I mean, that's not bad. It's for its generation. That's quite a decent lick of speed. Here's the whiskey. So 13 knots. Yeah, not really a capable submarine. And the third one, we can't see the third one yet, but it's gonna be probably north of the whiskey and east of the Juliet, in that sort of corner. So I think we can tackle these with kind of just like, yeah, okay guys, I got you. All right, let's go ahead and let's make it happen. Let's turn.
Come right to 141 Helm I.
I'm gonna get my depth down a little bit first. Myself down to 550 feet.
Make depth 550 feet, dive I.
I was wrong. It's a bit further east than I thought, but this is so far. This is not a difficult mission to do. Even the Juliet's turning towards me, but I really don't think she's going to detect me. Well, she will on active, but she'll only go active when I've already launched, and if I've launched on something like that, it's probably time to get to escape depth. Capitan. Let's accelerate time for a second.
Con, helm, steady course.
They're lined up.
Dive at 550 feet, dive I.
I'm only get my depth down to about 565, give or take. It's even coming right at me. Her active sonar is great, but passive is not wonderful. Okay, fire the guided one towards Sierra 3.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
And then this one's gonna say 2,400 yards.
Con, fire control. We've lost the wire.
You only get one wire, and then this one is gonna run. Do I want to save this one? No, I'm gonna go ahead and let this one run. Pretty much, so give it 4,000 yards.
Con, fire control. We've lost the wire.
All right, let's crank it
Con,
on.
sonar, launch transient from Sierra 1.
Let's put it up to 15 knots, and I'm gonna turn. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Cons.
Yeah.
Come left to 108 Helm I.
I'm gonna try and notch it. What I mean by notch is we're gonna run perpendicular to the course of its approaching torpedo. And you have to get about 1,000 yards away from a set 65.
Con, helm, steady course.
880 yards, and it's possibly.
Con, sonar, launch transient from Sierra 1. Con, sonar, launch transient from Sierra 1.
Now that spread is a bit of a concern.
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
I may risk losing my my wire by running to 20 knots. I don't really want to run to 25. 30.
Con, sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Okay, we've certainly got their attention now. I think that's 4 torpedoes in the water, 4 fish in the water. Yeah, I've got to pump my speed up. Bring in the towed array up to 20 knots.
Make
Like
turns
so.
for 20 knots. Maneuvering I.
So the reason why
Con, maneuvering, making turns for 20 knots.
reason why I put my depth to in this case 590 feet is it'll cavitate at 550 feet at 30 knots. It won't. It's something like 562.
Con, sonar, regained contact on Sierra 3, bearing 063.
Yeah, I think Torpedo 1 is on track to the bypass
Con, fire control. We've lost the wire.
Sierra 1 and Sierra 2 and go for the Sierra 3.
Con, sonar, launch transient from Sierra 3.
It's just fired upon me as well. This is fine. We've got lots of torpedoes in the
sonar,
water.
launch transient from Sierra 2.
That's okay. Completely fine with this. Not a big deal. I'm gonna get my depth down to 700 feet.
Con sonar, noisemaker.
Make depth 700 feet. Dive I.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 3.
Touch and go
Con
whether
sonar, launch transient from Sierra 3.
touch and go whether this one is gonna not detect me or. So let's turn a little
Helm right to
away.
141. Helm I.
I would normally turn towards it, but there's other fish in the water, and let's run to flank speed.
Make turns for 30 knots. Maneuvering I.
Okay, so now
Con, torpedo.
Con, dive at 700 feet. Dive I.
now my torpedoes are doing themselves a favor. I would like to get out of their way. And I'm going to go ahead and pause recording for just a few seconds.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1. Last bearing 027. Contact breaking up.
One down. It's pretty quick. That feels kind of
Con
brutal,
sonar,
really.
launch transient from Sierra 2.
Okay, I'm going to pause recording for a few seconds, and I'll be right back. Oh, that was
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 4.
that was literally a few seconds, and another contact appeared, Sierra 4. So the game surprised me.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 053.
Con,
that-
fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
I think that's a foxtrot. But
Con
yeah,
maneuvering, making turns for 30 knots.
yeah, that's interesting. It's a better boat, but it's not a massive threat, so I'm very casually, calmly racing my way southeast. Not that concerned about the stuff coming towards me,
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
because there are a number of torpedoes coming my way. This is fine. Let's go ahead and turn it
to 104. Helm I.
a little bit more east, so we'll see if we pick up some of these.
Steady course. Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 044.
Okay, that is fairly close.
Come right to.
So we'll notch that.
147. Helm I.
It may detect me,
Come right to. 162. Helm I.
so we'll turn a bit more
Con
south.
sonar lost contact. Sierra 4. Last bearing 013. Contact is in the baffles.
I think we're going to be okay. Yeah, we are. It's slipping behind me, so it's not going to detect me. Let's turn it east a little bit. I'm going to do this manually. Oh no, this other one might. Yeah.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 4.
Con, knuckle formed.
But it might be circling, and if it is, wow, it's the second torpedo circling. Are they trying to put a barrier between me and them? Took care of Sierra 2, just dispatched it, not even bothered.
Con
Wow.
sonar launch transient from Sierra 4.
See where you are now, Sierra 4. That will be a threat at some point, but I'm gonna drop it down to 15 knots.
Make turns for 15 knots. Maneuvering I.
Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
But yeah, it's not that I'm untouchable, I really am, because, oh, look at that. That's interesting. They've boxed
Come
me in.
left to 000. Helm I.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. I want to head
Come left to 2. Make
west
turns
again.
for 30 knots. Maneuvering I.
Oh, it's okay. It's actually don't need to. Look at that. It is decided that they've gone ahead and orbited
Come
again.
right to
So
024. Helm I.
that's great. I don't necessarily need to be doing 30 knots either. So let's kill
Back
my
of
speed.
RTD. Maneuvering I.
It may yet get
Make turns
detected,
for
but
5 knots. Maneuvering aye.
I'm going to sneak in
Con
behind.
sonar lost contact. Sierra 3. Last bearing 0, 2, 5. Contact breaking up.
Come right
Got
to
the second
0,
Juliet.
7, 3. Helm aye.
So I'm going to, I would say, sneak in behind this
Turns
torpedo to my
for
east.
3, 0 knots. Maneuvering aye.
I'm actually going to charge east, because there's a few torpedoes heading my way, and they
Con
have...
sonar lost contact. Sierra 4. Last bearing 0, 0, 1. Contact
Con, helm, steady course.
The Sierra 4 has an idea where I am, and he can hear me, I'm sure, but he's yet to really threaten me. That may change, but the other torpedoes have kind of just floated around and not really
Come
been...
right to 0, 9, 0. Helm aye.
Right, and I've got the range, and I've achieved my primary objective,
Con, helm, steady course.
I believe, which is to take out the cruise missile boats. Okay, well I'm going to kick back, take a drink of this carbonated can of something on my desk, and pour one out for the lost souls aboard those 3 boats. Got a good sonar return there, but I'm just going to taunt you right now, sir.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 4. Bearing 3, 5, 5.
Oh, another orbiter. Another circler. Again, it's like they're boxing me in, but it's too far away. It's not going to detect me. So, unless it's a... No, it's not going to detect me. It's a 1,000-yard detection range.
Turns for 3, 0 knots.
He's getting a good return on his active sonar, but it's not doing him any good because he can't reach me very effectively here. Okay, I'm going to accelerate time for a little bit. We may yet come a cropper with something coming my way, but I think I'm going to be okay. Yeah, I know exactly where you are. And you're not threatened, he's moving at 3 knots. That's fine by me. I'm okay with that.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Gonna go ahead and do the whole quiet thing going on there. Get my Todari out as soon as I can, which is not yet. 80 knots, there we go. So I pretty much know exactly where you are, and I'm going to get a torpedo out to say, hello chumps,
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
but I'm going to disguise it by heading it west. Oh, look at that. You beauty. What's that? 7, that's 10, 11, 12 enemy torpedoes plus my own. And none of them got within a sniffing distance of me. And that's maybe even after Taco Bell the night before. Yeah, none of them just caught a whiff. So, yeah, you can use the skipjack to sneak around. But as a disclaimer, my crew is pretty seasoned at this point. We've been through a lot together. And they know what they're doing. They're also used to how this captain fights. And this is not the way I would normally fight. I would not be so blasé about all his incoming torpedoes. But in the words of MC Hammer, you can't touch this.
Come left to 0, 2, 4. Helm aye.
Yeah, he really can touch this. He doesn't particularly need any sort of he can get a lucky shot in. So point that torpedo towards him. By the time it passes this torpedo here, the one that's circling, the one that's on my path, he may start to get a bit of a detection on it.
Con sonar launch transient from Sierra 4.
I think that was him detecting it, but then again, he's firing further west. Look at that. He doesn't know where I am. He's pinging me, but it's not really... It's not working. Oh, he's turning around. Yeah, he's remembered he left the stove on at home, so he's making like a tree and getting out of here. Okay, sensible chap. I mean, you've used half of Russia's torpedo supplies just to not hit me. So yeah, I'd do the same.
Come left to 342, helm aye.
Go ahead and put this torpedo into
Con,
pursuit
helm,
mode, like
steady
so.
course.
It's going to detect him.
Con, fire control, weapon
Go.
acquired.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 341.
And
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 343.
oh, you may have dodged that bullet. Way to go. I'm going to give the torpedo a bit of assistance here.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired. Con, fire control.
Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 4, last bearing 344. Contact breaking up.
You can't always outsneak a skipjack. And I don't think you can outsneak USS Scamp. How many torpedoes was that fired at me? 12? 13? 14? And I fired 1 torpedo per enemy boat. No, I didn't quite use their torpedoes against them. I wasn't going to do that. But yeah. That's what you get. Say hi to Davy Jones for me. But all said and done, pouring one out for the lost souls above the 4th submarine that we just dispatched. Pretty ruthless kill. In fact, all of them were 1 Mark 48 per enemy boat, and they really didn't have a chance. Thanks for hanging out with me today. There was a lot of action going on, but I really didn't feel threatened, and it's unusual for me not to feel threatened. We may have beaten the Russians in this campaign, which means we're stepping closer to the pretty vicious boomer mission at the end of the campaign. Well, you can subscribe for more, and when it appears, assuming I don't lose the boat between now and then, I'll be sure to put that on the channel. Thanks so much everyone, take care. Goodbye.